You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous.
Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. We're your hosts, Sophia,
Emma,
and Leah.
And it's been a minute since we've recorded. We have lots of birth stories for you and juicy updates. But we're going to do quick little check-ins. How is life, Leah? How are you doing? Your earrings are incredible. My mom is so excited about her earrings.
Oh, good. I made a point to put them in my truck so that I would remember to bring them.
Yeah, everyone I bump into, I'm like, oh, you're wearing Leah's earrings.
Yeah, it's been lifey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to describe it. Life has been lifey. But I'm well and, just trucking along. I have been doing a lot of creativity stuff, which has been really great. I've been making a lot of earrings and projects, which I love. It's a big part of who I am in addition to being a midwife. So it's been really fun to have that outlet as well. And I love all the birth workers who have earrings, because that's probably 90% of the market.
Right?
Birth workers who wear my moon earrings, which is really cool. And I'm really flattered that people like them. But yeah, no, things have been trucking along. I love the fall. It's my absolute favorite season.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh, we all love it.
Sweaters. It's like part of my purpose on this earth. Dance, sing, make earrings, and wear sweaters. So I'm excited for that, even though it's 90 degrees, fall is a relative thing. But the light, I feel like, is already starting to change in the evening. And it's just something about that time that's like just really, really my time. So that's been good. And then I guess one of the big things is that Nina, my student who was on a little hiatus, is back. She can't do the podcast today, but hopefully she'll be joining us in the future. But she started coming to appointments with me, and she'll be coming to births, and I just really value her input and fresh take on things. And so, I'm excited for her to meet you, Emma, and so that's really exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you, Emma? What's going on with you? We had a little bit of an adventure the last time we hung out. I'll let you chime in on that.
Yeah.
That's putting it mildly.
That's a word.
Yeah. So many different adjectives that you can use about that experience.
Oh my God.
Dear listeners, I apologize that our podcast is so late. It is because there was a situation the last time we got together to record. The ladies came up to my house, and I know I've said that I live in the woods, but I mean, I live in the woods, but I have like a fenced in yard, and I don't know. Anyway, so the girls arrive, and we said our hellos, and we were just getting ready to hit record and start the podcast when I heard my little goat outside in the yard in his fenced in area, shouting and crying for me. So
screaming for you. Yeah. He wasn't like, Mom.
It was a little bit like, okay, yeah. I can't go back. I had literally just finished telling the ladies that so I had two goats, and one of my goats passed away the week before from what we thought was maybe a snake bite or like the weird thing that they get from raccoon poop where they just kind of go crazy and die. It was a really horrific
Wait,
death.
what? I've never heard that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a thing. And it was slow and awful and just traumatic. So I started hearing my other goat screaming, and I like am trying to put my flip-flops on or socks on, and I'm all flustered and I'm like, what is going on? And so I ran outside, and I'm flipping through the Rolodex of my brain, like, what it's probably maybe what happened to my other goat is happening to Mo. He's stuck, he got his head stuck in the fence, like, those are the things I'm thinking are gonna happen. No, it's excuse my French, fucking black bear in my yard. Huge mama bear in my yard who has helped herself to my goat and did not just put him out of his misery, just swooped him up under her armpit and climbed with the other paw up this tree. It was the wildest thing to see, you guys. And we're just standing there, just like
middle of the day. We're all standing there, just like jaws on the floor. Like, what are we? It was like hard to even like conceptualize what we're seeing. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mel. That's all I can say. And it was very, very traumatic. And needless to say, we were unable to resume the podcast.
Yes.
But we were thinking, what would have happened if we hit record and they just
right?
All of that
oh
was
my God.
recorded.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was a good example of your like ability to focus in stressful situations. Though, when you got Millie in,
yes,
you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, because Emma's dog darted outside.
Your ability to be like, okay, get dog in, do this. I was just like, screaming and running for the hills, basically.
Well, I was upset, but I was more pissed. I was so angry, and I think my adrenaline kicked in because my little Chihuahua followed me out and kind of like walked over to the pen closer to that area. And I didn't even think like, this bear could just come and get me. I'm like grabbing my dog, dilly-dallying around. Sophia, she didn't notice that Millie followed me out. She saw this bitch is crazy.
I was like, why is she running after this bear? Like,
she thought I was trying to save my goat. She's like, oh my God, she's nuts. So she ran over to save my life. And so we all got Millie back in, but I was so upset. That was not.
Yeah. So we scratched the podcast and we went into town and bought crystals, protective crystals. Oh, it was wild. We just kept staring at each other, thinking and saying, did that really, you saw that, right? Like you saw it, right? Because it was just unbelievable. Because the pen is right next to our house. It wasn't like in the distance we could barely make out. No, she was standing right there.
We were a few feet away.
I was as close to a bear as I ever chose to be in my life.
And it's interesting because
I have close enough now. I'm done.
Right.
Never get to be that close to a bear ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've shared the story with a few people that live in the valley, and there's like some jealousy for these like people, that have lived in this area for like 50 years and are like avid hunters, or they're like, wow, like that's really cool that you were that close to a bear. That's a once in a lifetime experience. Like I would have really liked to have seen that. I'm like, well, I wish it would have been you, not me.
Yeah, it's tragic because of Mo, but it is like also awe-inspiring to be that close to an animal.
It was in nature.
Yeah. I mean, I have been that close to an animal before when we were in Tahoe and my children were little kebabs in the hot tub, and a bear walked by the hot tub and just, looked at them and kept walking. And I was inside the house looking out the window going, maybe I shouldn't leave the children outside unattended.
Yeah.
So that was the only other time I've been that close to a bear. But
when I came back inside, I just kind of lost it. And I think it was just my nervous system. I've been going through quite a bit of jolting situations lately. And so I just was like, there's, this enough. Is this the finale? And so I was.
You were just saying how your nervous system was completely tapped out. And we were like, let's have some tea, bring it down. And then that.
Yeah. So Sophia is like cradling my body and she's like, just it was a mama bear feeding her baby bear, like trying to like make a nice situation out of a traumatic situation, because it's a mom and we're midwives, gotta feed the babies.
And then it turns out it wasn't one.
Yeah, and then the next morning
The story continues.
So my wife goes to both of these times. I mean, luckily the girls were with me, so I wasn't alone. But the next morning, Bree, my wife, goes to work and I'm alone. And from my bedroom window, I can see this other bear coming slinking up the mountain, standing up on the goat pen, going, "Hey goats, what's up? I heard there's goats in here." And there were not. And then goes over to my chicken pen and just opens the chicken wire like a silk curtain, like nothing. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Goes in and is like, I think it was too young. It couldn't actually kill the chickens. It couldn't figure out the motor skills of that. But that was very crazy. And yeah.
And clearly not the first bear. It was much smaller and skinnier.
It was really skinny and small. It was definitely basically somebody came over and said that was the mom, like kicking the baby off and trying to teach them to go and hunt on their own. And we will not be having a bear problem anymore. Yeah, but the guy who came over to take care of the bear was like, "I really didn't want to do that, but the problem is that because they're hungry and because we don't have any water, and because of the fires, like they know that there's a food source here and they will keep coming back."
And the bear was hanging around your house. It wasn't like going away. It was just hanging out by there.
When the guy came over to find the bear, we were standing outside on the deck and I told him where the entry place was where the bear came, and he went down, but like over the fence and literally just went a couple feet. And that's where I heard the bear growling. It was literally still right there. And it was quite a fight to get it down. And it was just
and he said it like charged him.
Charged him.
Yeah, because he's like, I didn't want to necessarily kill it, but
it was quite a situation to witness. And
what did he say? It was probably like 600 pounds.
And he said it was like 400 pounds.
400
He's like, "I'm glad you're still with us." That was like a 400-pound bear. Came up, brought me the paw. I'm like, "Oh my God." And yeah, country living. I'm feeling quite scrappy now. I feel like I have my country cred.
Oh, and I was like, "Do you guys have like a bear horn or a bear gun or any sort of like bear thing?" She's like, "Oh yeah, where is that?" It was like in the corner covered in dust with zip ties still holding it down. We're like, this would not be helpful because you have to have it with you at all times,
Yeah, and I do have like a little Austin Powers gun that's like so cute and like pew pew. And the thought crossed my mind when I saw it getting Mo. I was just so pissed. I'm like, "Where's my guy?" But if I would have even attempted that, I would have just pissed it off. So I'm really glad I didn't try and get more scrappy than I am. But yeah, because what he brought over was like the biggest gun I've ever seen. So anyway,
it was time for nature to win.
Yes,
at that point.
That was a really wild thing. And I guess we should probably have done a trigger warning for, I don't know, people that like goats or don't want to hear about guns or something. But
we'll put a trigger warning in the show notes.
Yeah, and then a couple of days ago, I was up working with the other midwife that I work with, and we were out in the country, and the client has baby Nigerian goats. She's like, "Yeah, do you like goats?" And I'm like trying not to well up with tears. I'm like, "They're great. They're nice." I'm like, "Walk away. Walk away." Anyways, that's my long-winded update and the reason why you guys are getting this podcast so late. Thank you for your flexibility.
Yeah, we've been trying to recover since then. A lot going on. We've had a lot of babies born though. I can like briefly touch on those. We had first time mom who was laboring. It seemed like things were just progressing so fast, so smooth. And then she started having a lot of meconium, really thick meconium. And so we suspected the baby might be breech. And we confirmed, and the baby was breech, and we had some conversations about it, what it would mean. And the mom decided that, we tried calling around to see if there were any providers we could find who would support her and having a breech baby at the hospital. It just didn't seem like, baby was coming anytime soon. And she wanted to go in, and she decided that instead of driving super far away for maybe a vaginal birth, that she was just, ready for her C-section. So we went to the hospital, and with COVID, you never know what it's going to be like. But I was allowed to go in with her and her partner, and I was not allowed to go into the C-section. But she had her baby, and everything was pretty smooth after that. They tested the baby because the baby was a little jaundice. They did the newborn screen early. So they did it about 13 hours old. And then the baby ended up being flagged for like a thyroid condition. And the mom was already home at this point, did not want to go back to have labs drawn again. So she advocated to have labs done at her pediatrician, and everything was normal. And I guess we were reading online that if you do it too early, like before 24 hours, you can have a normal spike in thyroid levels. And so that's what they were seeing. So she was kind of annoyed that they would have drawn it earlier than necessary, and caused her a little stress. But
That's
yeah, it was. She felt a little frustrated from a few other things at the hospital. They're having the baby under Billy lights when really the levels didn't really necessitate. That's not a word.
Try again.
What is it?
But,
My brain stopped.
when it wasn't necessary.
Necessitate.
Thank you. I'm like, it's not necessary. Yeah. A necessitate treatment at that point. But they because the baby had to be there, she could only nurse for like 10 minutes, but first time mom, it takes a little while and so she's like, and then I had to put the baby back before we had finished a nursing session, and it was just hard. And so I reminded them that from as far as I could tell, it would be safe to be home with her baby. And so she said, I'm comfortable signing anything you want me to sign to leave here. But I want to go home. And she didn't have to sign anything because there actually was nothing wrong with her or the baby. So that was a little frustrating for her too, but she got home, and she was very proud of herself for advocating for her baby and her to be together. And and then we had another birth where it ended up being very long for this first time mom, in total about, I think, 58 hours, 4 hours of active labor, 3 hours of pushing, lots of back labor. It was one of those births where it's like all hands on deck, you do the hip squeeze, you do the back pressure, you hold her up, you give her water, everybody was being utilized. And there was a super funny moment where we are all literally holding her and doing something and have our hands on her body, and it was all necessary. And she goes, "Okay, I need some water, but nobody move." And we all just kind of looked at each other like, okay, how's that gonna happen? And we just paused for a minute until things settled down, and then we went and got her water. But it was really cute. And then after her baby was born, she did everything. She supported his head coming out, caught him. And a couple minutes goes by, and she looks over at me and she says, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, yeah, I know that wasn't in your childbirth class, huh? But we see this often with first time moms where it's you just can't put it into words. You can do all the studying you want. I mean, I remember that I had attended, a lot of births by the time I had my first. And I remember saying that was exactly what I thought it was going to be, except way harder. There's just no way to prepare for that. And And then let's see. Oh, and then we had a baby born in a thunderstorm and hailstorm. And she has this atrium in the center of her house with this glass roof, ceiling, whatever. And she wanted to have the birth tub in there with the lights and give birth in there. And it was all set up, ready to go, but she just it was going so quick, she could not move from the spot she was at. We were even like, okay, last chance. Do you want us to help you? She's like, I can't move. So her baby was born in the living room, and she got to walk by the beautiful birth tub scene as she went to the bed. She was like, oh, my space. Baby. Yeah. So we opened the doors and we let the hail, that it just like echoed in the whole house. It was just so cool. And they got married and it rained in September. It rained on their wedding day. So it was really cool to see, it come full circle. And then we were just at a birth last night. Oh, like first time mom, 6-hour labor, pushed her baby out into her arms, crying, no tears, like just beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah, just beautiful. And they did cord burning. So instead of cutting the cord, they had a little bowl with some tinfoil on the bottom and 2 beeswax tapered candles. And we just bundled the baby up and pulled the cord out and just burnt the cord. It took maybe, I wanted to time it, I forgot. It was like 15-20 minutes, something like that. And she wasn't sure, like in the moment when she had the baby, she was like, no, I don't know if I really want to do that. It feels like a hassle. Like maybe I just want to cut it. But I was like, well, what if we start with it? And then if it just becomes like a thing and you're not really into it, we'll just blow it out, and we'll cut it. And she was like, this is really beautiful. It's just like.
That went really smoothly. I was kind of surprised, honestly, just how straightforward that was. I mean, I was kind of in and out, I was doing laundry and stuff, but I got some really, really beautiful pictures.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Yeah. Yeah. She was just like cuddling in bed with her man and he was holding the baby and they, you just like the flicker of the candles and the baby making little noises. And it was just this like calm, peaceful moment. And it was really sweet. So Leah, afterwards, when I was doing the newborn exam, I looked at the cord, to check for like a 3-vessel cord. And I was like, oh, can't tell because it's all burnt.
Yeah.
I was like, so we had to tell by like cutting the placental side.
You probably had to cut it.
Yeah. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it cauterizes it, and obviously, flame is sterile, and so it will eventually fall off his belly button like it would typically do. And yeah, it was really, really sweet. Yeah, so those were our births recently, and yeah, have either of you been to cord burning before?
No,
Births? Yeah.
No, I've always thought that was very cool though. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, our next client wants to burn the cord. I'd been to one before when I was a student. I don't really have that much of a memory of it. I feel like it was a summer day, and so we opened the windows, but this wasn't like super smoky. There was definitely like a smell, but nothing where I was like, oh my God, this stinks or something. It was just like something's burning, but yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I know when I went to Haiti before I left, I'd seen a lot of photos like on social media, and I know that's a practice that they do in places where they don't necessarily have access to sterile instruments. But when I was there, we didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I'll probably, it's always an option for people, but if people ask, and maybe that was just like the Goldilocks one that, in the future will be stinky and an issue, but I thought it was really nice. I think it's something that I might tell more people about, honestly.
Yeah, usually when I talk to people about the options of cord cutting or lotus birth or cord burning, I usually say that cord burning can feel more like ceremonial, because there's like this participation from the family, and obviously cutting the cord, you can have participation too, but it's more time consuming. So just in the sense of like that you're holding space for this moment versus just like snip, done, like, oh, did you catch a picture? You know, like it goes pretty quick. But that there's like, it is its own moment. It is its own like part of the birth experience versus just like a quick picture and you're done. It has its like own dedicated space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and not many people choose it. They're like, oh yeah, that doesn't feel important to me. But yeah, it is a option, and a beautiful one. Yeah. Because I remember feeling the same way when she was toying back and forth between, oh, should I just cut it? Should I do it? And I remember feeling like, yeah, let's just cut it and be done with it. You know, it's like middle of the night, we're all tired. But then when I was sitting there, I was kind of holding the cord taut for them and they were holding the candles. And we were all just quiet and she was just kind of like processing the birth. And it almost made for like a good closing ceremony, you know, for the whole experience.
Yeah, and she had a very fast, very efficient birth, which she's amazing. And so she was, you know, I mean, of course she was tired, but you know, if it had been a 58-hour back labor, she might have been like, you know what?
Right. Yeah.
I'm good, which is okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did seem like when she went ahead and did it that she was glad.
Right. So I had briefly mentioned about lotus birth. For anyone listening who doesn't know what that is, it's where you don't sever the cord at all. You leave it alone and eventually it detaches from the baby's belly button. The cord, as you've probably seen from belly buttons in general, it does the same mechanism of drying and hardening and becoming brittle. Have either of you ever experienced a lotus birth with families?
No, we had a client that wanted to and then decided she didn't once the day came.
So she just had it cut. What about you, Leah?
I've had a couple.
Yeah, what was it like?
The first one, after I think it was 24 hours, it might have been a little bit more. They asked me to come and cut it because it smelled really bad. And they did like salt and there was like a whole herb mixture that they put on, but they ended up, I think just having to have it attached to baby and keep it preserved and all of that was proving to be more effort than they had anticipated. So they called me and asked me to come and cut it. So I did, but you know, I think they appreciated the time that they had with it. And I concur. And I walked into the room and I was like pretty astounded by how bad it smelled.
And that's something to mention for anyone who is curious about lotus birth, that there are steps that are taken to salt the placenta, or herbs you can do, or both, to, like Leah was saying, preserve it to where it isn't super stinky. And like we're saying, that sometimes you can do that and it can still be stinky. And two, like I would call that a partial lotus. I've had people who wanted lotus birth and then realized at a certain amount of time that they didn't want it. And so just to point out that there's no rush to sever the cord too, you know, like you could plan like, oh yeah, our plan all along is to cut the cord, but there doesn't need to be any specific time frame where it's done. Like usually for us, we just do it before we do the newborn exam, and before we leave. So it's just like, 3 to 4 hours after they're born, unless, the family wants to do it sooner, but it could be done the next day, it could be done later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, there's always like pieces, like, they had another child who was younger and they weren't, they kind of wanted to like be able to move the baby room to room a little bit easier. And like, it's just different ideas about mobility. And it was really hot out, it's summertime and all that stuff. Yeah. So there's little factors, but yeah, I think it's, not by any means something that happens soon after the birth.
Right. And from what I know about lotus birth, which I haven't done tons of research on it, so tell me if you two know anything different, but the reason some people are opting for it is, one, we don't know what else is happening between placenta and baby for sure. After the placenta comes out, we know that blood stops transferring. Some people are wondering about stem cells, like if that process is still happening or what. So that there is this idea of like, oh, just let it fall off on its own. There is something to point out that, most mammals don't lotus birth. Usually they either the cord pops off or they chew it off or, something like that. You could also say that that's because they live in the wild, and they need to like get back to life and clean up the mess and all that. Some families feel like they just want as like gentle of a process as possible for their baby and not this like, I'm quoting some things I've heard, like sharp, cold steel, cutting and separating them, which is why some people choose the cord burning. It can for some feel gentler, I guess. And the idea that if you have a lotus birth, it can enable you from carrying your baby around, passing your baby around, doing a lot of activity so it can keep you in bed more, like sometimes that is the purpose for families where it's like, oh, this will commit me to like being in bed with my baby. Have you ever witnessed a full lotus, Leah? I'm curious about like, does the cord still come off the belly button in a week's time or like what happens there? I don't know that.
I mean, I sort of just remember that between, the 3-day and the 5-day visit, it just had come off.
Okay.
And, I honestly, I don't think that they did any like trimming towards the belly button for baby, like once the cord had dried and broken off, I don't think that they did anything else like to, shorten it. I think, when the cord dries, it shortens so much. Like we can leave 5 inches of cord attached and, by the 1-day visit, it's like just still this little stump. It's amazing. But yeah, it was pretty smooth. It was sort of like, oh yeah, no, it just came off. And it was really similar actually, just to like a regular cord stump coming off.
I'm curious to see how this cord dries and that whole process, because it was definitely the longest cord I've left because one, all the windows and doors were open. So we had the baby pretty bundled. We didn't just have him like, belly up and burning the cord. And we didn't want it obviously too close to his body. And we wanted to rest the bowl in a spot that could like stay there for 20 minutes, not have to hold it. So it's definitely a longer cord. I wish now I had like measured it or something, to go back and be like, oh, I went back the next day and it was already XYZ. But yeah, I'll just take note of it to see how it unfolds for them.
What did they do with the placenta after it came off? Did they bury it, Leah?
I believe so. I mean, you wouldn't ingest it.
Yeah.
At that point. So I'm pretty sure that they buried it. I don't honestly remember.
What did you guys do with your placentas at your births?
Mine lived in the freezer. June was born at the hospital, and I don't have a really strong recollection of what. I'm sure I know that it was a delayed cord clamp situation, but I don't remember how long. And then we kept the placenta, but it just stayed in the freezer for a couple years until we buried it.
Yeah. When you have to like move it from house to house, you're like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah. And with Sienna, I think it was like, I don't remember if it was cut before her placenta came or not. I think it was afterwards, but we just cut it and we did the same thing. We buried her placenta.
What about you, Emma? You're like, it's dried hanging on my wall in my witch cabin.
Dahlia's dad is Native American, and she was, told the story, but she was born on like a hippie commune in a yurt, and he grew up on that land and took it into the forest and buried it. I have no idea where it is, but did a prayer and put it back in the earth. So I thought that was cool. That was his way of like having his own time with it, and I have no idea where it is.
I've had a family do that before. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, my placenta was retained, and we tried to manually remove it at home a few times, which was excruciating. And then so I transferred to the hospital and had it manually removed at the hospital with a little bit of fentanyl, which was fabulous. I remember being like, just like a half a dose, like I don't want too much. And then afterwards I was like, oh, hey, where's the other half? And it never even crossed my mind again. I'm really glad that one of my midwives remembered and like took it and processed it. I had been processing placentas, and so I wanted to have it encapsulated so that I could give people my personal feedback. And then honestly, just everything that was going on with my son, I took it here and there, but not consistently enough that I feel like I had an experience with consuming it. So that I don't have experience of. And then with my daughter, she was born by cesarean, and we made sure that we kept the placenta, and I wanted to have it encapsulated again. But again, I didn't even like think of it. And so my midwife was the one who made sure it happened for me. And same thing. I'm just really shitty at taking supplements in general. I could do anything for 2 weeks. And then I just forget. So I never got like a full experience. I can't really say like what it did for me or not. Yeah, because I just didn't do it consistently enough. But I love the idea of cord burning. Like if I ever had another child, I think that would be a beautiful way to like, close the space down. And yeah, that feels sweet to me, especially after this last experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but both of my children's cords were cut traditionally. Well, I guess modern traditional. I wonder the history of severing cords.
I was gonna say that. I'm wondering if there's any documentation on what people did.
Yeah, we will try to look into that and report back. And if anybody else knows, please leave in comments. That would be really interesting to see. Because isn't it like all mammals consume their placenta? Most do. Like there's a few that don't. I'm trying to think. Dolphins don't, or I don't know. I'd have to Google it.
Yeah, it was like I can't remember, but one that I wouldn't think it was.
Yeah. And so some people are like, oh, we're meant to consume.
Like zebra. It's like
random.
Really? It's like zebras or and something.
Horse, yes. Zebra, no.
Yeah, it was something like that. I'm like, that's weird. Okay.
I wonder if guinea pigs eat their placenta. I'll have to ask my kid's teacher. She has like 17 guinea pigs. Well, today she probably has like 20 now. Like they just keep multiplying. She's like, I don't know how many we have today.
Dahlia's friend she's like 12 and she breeds guinea pigs, and she's like slinging guinea pigs and has like a full-blown business and like upcharged for 2 guinea pigs. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
she's a businesswoman. Like, and she was like very to the point with us about it. I was like,
oh my gosh,
okay. It was very cute. I'm like, okay, you're gonna do well in this world, babe.
That's awesome. I remember my old house, our neighbor had a horse that was pregnant, and I remember like, I don't know, hearing the baby outside. I was like, oh my gosh, the baby's been born. I ran out there because I wanted to see the placenta, and she had already slurped it up. I was like, that was fast.
I think because the smell attracts critters, so I'm sure they're like, get that out.
Yeah.
Animal kingdom's just a little more practical. It's like, there's a thing here, it needs to be gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat it.
Yeah. Babies get up and run right after they're born.
Yeah. Do monkeys eat their placentas?
So now we have to do some recon because we didn't research these things before.
My
Right.
understanding is that like pretty much all mammals do save like one or two.
Uh-huh.
And you know, again, it's like it's also maybe the last meal they're gonna have for a minute.
Uh-huh. That's
You know,
that's a true
because
thing.
they
Yeah.
don't have meal trains.
Yes.
You know, they may be like hiding in that little den that they're in with their babies for
Mhm.
a
That's
couple
really
weeks.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting,
predators and,
even like
you know, all
herbivores,
kinds
you
of
know.
reasons.
Yeah, like if you're not a carnivore, you still, for the most part, they eat their placenta. It's nourishing. Yeah.
Marsupials do not ingest their placentas.
Oh, interesting.
All sea mammals do,
Oh, I thought dolphins didn't.
and camels and alpacas and llamas do, and wait, you're not
Camels, alpacas, and llamas do.
yeah.
Okay.
And then
And
I'm reading this wrong.
There we
Sorry, I
go.
really need glasses.
Scratch that.
Okay, all exceptions that do not consume the placenta include all. Okay, so all sea mammals do not
I was
eat their
gonna
placentas.
say that dolphins. don't.
Camels don't, alpacas don't, and marsupials don't. Sorry, I didn't misread them.
Okay, marsupials, sea mammals, camels, alpacas do not eat their placentas.
There you go.
Confirmed, if the internet is not lying to
Fake news.
us. Interesting.
Very
Cool.
interesting.
Well, if anybody out there has some fun stories about cord severing or
Mhm.
fun things to do with your placentas, we're always looking for new things to try.
Mhm.
I just found out my iron is really, really low, and I was like, I wonder the next time somebody doesn't want their placenta, they're like, you can trash that. If I'll just be like, can I eat it, please?
Well, I'm finding that more partners are wanting to ingest the placenta than the
Mhm.
mamas,
Mhm.
because I process a lot of placentas, and it's a lot of dads who like to work out or want the energy. They're more intrigued by it. And there's a whole like black market I didn't realize. Like I'm sure you can maybe buy placenta pills on Etsy or something crazy. They sell like kid teeth necklaces on Etsy. So I don't know.
You can get anything on Etsy.
But I had no idea that it was such a thing. Like people are buying random people's placentas to do that. Interesting.
Well, maybe my son will
many
start a
legal
business.
questions.
He's been wiggling his adult teeth.
Mhm.
Like, stop doing that. You want to
After
keep
my own
those.
heart. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was a good topic. So
Mhm.
far, we've been just like flying by the seat of our pants and seeing what unfolds as we chit chat. And I love that this was the discussion today.
Mhm. Me too.
Cool. Well, any fun things that are happening to you? Hopefully you're gonna get a little nap, Leah. I know we're probably tired from the birth. Yeah.
No, I'm doing I am looking forward to a beading workshop I'm doing
Oh,
with
nice.
some of my neighbor friends. I live right behind a little store called the Potting Shed, and it's really fun. The ladies that work there are going to come over, and I might have some other friends too, but I'll give that a try and do a little autumn equinox beading workshop sale thing. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Coming up.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Emma and I are gonna hang out today and do some skills work.
Mhm.
Yeah, she recently drew my labs in a hospital parking lot.
Classy.
Fun time. We're like, don't drop your needles. Yeah, so cool. Well, we missed seeing you in person, Leah, and we understand the drive is long and you need rest. But hopefully we'll see you soon.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Okay, ladies, have a good day. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA. Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Homebirth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always, stay wild.